What's up, guys? It's Chris. Today we're going to be doing one perk on every single killer that's strong for them. Just wanted to remind you guys again that about 78% of you guys that watch my videos are not subscribed. If you're enjoying the content and want to see more like this, I'd really appreciate it if you hit that subscribe button. It helps the channel out a lot and it lets you guys know when I upload a new video. But with that said, let's get right into it. We'll just start with Trapper. Definitely corrupt intervention. To let him pick up some traps, get some set up, and have just that slowdown at the start of the game. So by the time you actually have it set up, 2 gens aren't already done. Wraith's kind of tough. He can be really good with insta-down perks, like make your choice, but I wouldn't say that's his best perk. Devour's a little bit too unreliable. So we could go with the classic sloppy for hit and run, keeping people injured. And he's really good at getting that first hit, sneaking up on people on gens and stuff. That was not bad. He does like a little bit of chase power, because in chase he really has nothing. But you're not really trying to play Wraith too much as a chase killer. He's just an M1, so you want to just go for those sneak attacks, quick hits and stuff. Billy's probably Bamboozle. It lets him play around a lot of stuff that he wouldn't be able to play around otherwise. Which sets you up for using your other perks that are really good on him, like Pop with Tinkerer or Barbecue, stuff like that. So yeah, that's probably, Bamboozle's probably Billy's best perk. I honestly think I am going to say, like, there's just so many good perks on Nurse that this purple add-on, it's kind of cheap to say it because it's not a perk, but the purple range add-on is, I think it's Nurse's best thing she can bring. It's so tough for me to pick a perk just because they're all so good on her. Like all the meta stuff, all the strong perks. She gets used out of all of them super well, so yeah, we're going to go with the purple range. Huntress is also probably corrupt for the same reason as Trapper, kind of, just to get her snowball going. It's obviously she doesn't have anything to set up, but her ability to stay in one area is really strong, but she's moves at 110, so moving across the map trying to find people, if they do a good job of hiding early on, you're just going to lose so much time. So forcing them kind of towards you into 4 gens is huge. Myers, yeah, it's between Bamboozle and Corrupt, just because having this in chase, especially in tier 3, makes him so disgusting. Unless you're on a map like the game, but then you're just screwed no matter what you bring. You know what I mean? So yeah, Corrupt or Bamboozle. Both really, really good on him. Okay, the Hag. Holy fuck. Now I'm realizing how good this perk is. The Hag's best perk is probably Corrupt. Because for the same reason as Trapper, it lets her set up an area. Get ready to dominate that, and she doesn't have to worry about losing too many gens right at the start of the game before she can use her power, because she does also move at 110. Yeah, right, when in doubt, use Corrupt. No, but she does also move at 110 like the Huntress, but she also has to set up traps like the Trapper, but her traps can be a lot more disgusting and easier to use. Harder to play around than Trappers, especially if people aren't paying attention too much to your web. So, yeah. It's Corrupt Doctor. He has a lot that are really good on him. I would almost say the Doctor is the second best DMS user in the game. Right behind Artist. Just because, I mean, he has so much built-in info. If he gets an idea of where people are and uses something like Distressing to make his terror radius bigger, he can just push everybody off every single gen for 45 seconds, which makes it so he can decide whether to camp or find somebody that he wants to tunnel out of the game and set him up for that. Yeah, I think I might say that Dead Man Switch is the Doctor's best perk too. Just because of how much slowdown and pressure you can have just for free. Bubba's, I'm going to go with Bamboozle again, just like Billy, the Chainsaw Bros. Is because he can shut down so many loops, and everybody knows Bubba just chews through fucking pallets. So if you can deny a strong window in an area, and then they're just left with throwing a pallet that you're going to eat in 1 second, then they're going to be in a tough spot. Freddy's is probably, it's boring. Either Ruin or Pop. I think Freddy's best perk is Pop. Mostly because with his mobility, being able to teleport directly onto a gen. Whenever you're getting a hook, you can just teleport right to wherever one of your info perks tells you to go, whether it's Tinkerer, Discordance, Barbecue, whatever your choice is. You just teleport right to it and then pop the gen instantly. I would say Ruin though. It's just a little bit fragile and unreliable. You never know if your Ruin's going to be gone 15 seconds into the game, or if you get to use it for 3 minutes. So I'm still going to go with Pop. Pig. But Corrupt's also amazing with the pig, because what the pig wants is to be able to get one trap onto somebody. Because what the pig wants is to get a trap on somebody. That's her real power, right? Is Corrupt. So she wants to be able to get that trap on somebody as soon as she can, ideally before a gen pops, to get that extra pressure on a survivor, so they have to be taking the trap off. And then if she downs somebody else while that survivor's still taking the trap off, a different one has to come and save, and she could be chasing the fourth one. So that's all 4 people pressured for free. But save gives her actual like strength and chase and the ability to really get those traps on quicker. Okay, we'll make it easy then. Probably the strongest is Corrupt, but a very strong runner-up is Save, because she can use it almost as well as Demo. Clown. Poor guy. What if we say Devour? The pressure that Devour brings to a team, if they don't cleanse it too early into the match. I hate saying Hex Totems are a killer's best perk, but like, if he's getting his downs a little bit early on, Devour brings you that slowdown that you really need, because the game just stops at that point. Everybody starts looking for the totem. Nobody's going to be sitting on a gen or going for a save with Devour up. It makes it so he doesn't have to hit people twice, and he can be pretty good in chase with his slows and speeding himself up. Okay, I'm going to go with Devour for Clown. Spirit. If you want just a totally reliable perk, and if you're decent with Spirit, it definitely used to be Strider, for sure. Not anymore. I think it'd be Barbecue. I think the Spirit's best perk is Barbecue. She's really strong in chase. If you know what you're doing. You can play around a lot of loops that a lot of killers can't with her power. Survivors can tell a bit what you're doing now. So she's not as insane as she was, but she is really good in chase. So being able to hook somebody and instantly have the info as a 110 killer is really important. You could say Floods of Rage maybe too, but I think I'm going to say Barbecue just because her power isn't like most killers. Like, Nurse can blink right, and then she has a little fatigue, and she can blink right away. Spirit's cooldown on her power can be pretty huge if you're using the full duration. And being 110, just moving around the map, if you don't know exactly where you're going, it could screw you over a bit. So I would say Barbecue for Spirit. You really can't go wrong. Legion. I would say Thana. I think Legion's the best Thana user in the game. Right next to Plague. Because if people are healing to get rid of the Thana slowdown on Legion, that's more slowdown than just not healing. And as Legion, you could just get people injured whenever you want to. Yeah, I wouldn't have said that like 2 months ago because of the boons. It like didn't matter if people were healing or not. But I would probably go with Thana. Plague. She gets huge value out of Ruin, because if somebody's not infected and you push them off of a gen, you could just puke on the gen and leave. So either get infected for free or the gen just hits 0. It's a tough one. She has a lot of good perks. I think I'm going to go with Ruin for Plague. Yeah, just because if you pair it with like Undying or even Pop, just getting a minute or 2 of value from Ruin on this killer can be so gross. For most stealth killers like this, Lethal Pursuer can be absolutely insane. because he can sneak up on people from angles that they won't be looking for. And you don't have to worry about wasting time going around the edges of the map and not finding somebody, because you know exactly where people are starting. So I would say to get a lot of, like, you can get your stocks 99s, maybe even a down or even a grab if you're really lucky. So I would say Ghostface's best perk is lethal. It's pretty good. Demo is the best. Save the best for last user in the entire game. And the perk's really good. With his chase power on top of that, you can be downing people in like 5 seconds, maybe less. So, it's cracked on demo. Yep, save the best for last is his best perk. Ponies is between two. I would say it's between Sloppy and Infectious. Because Sloppy keeps people injured, which means you can have your power up permanently. But Infectious is just all around good. Because in his power, he's a fucking monster. And if you can get that info of just anybody nearby, once you get that down and just keep chaining them together, you can end a game in like 30 seconds on this killer. It's really stupid. So a lot of Plague's perks are just dominating. I'm gonna say Corrupt is Deathslinger's best perk. But as a 110 killer, Deathslinger's biggest flaw is he has 0 mobility. It's actually really low. Because he gets slowed down whenever he's aiming in and stuff. So I would say Corrupt to be able to slow down the game a bit at the start, again, to get your snowball rolling, kind of like Huntress. And be able to find people easier. Because with how slow you move, if people are stealthing it out and stuff at the start of the game, you can really get hurt if you can't get started right away. So yeah, I'll go with Corrupt. Pyramid Head is probably either I'm all ears for getting people down really fast in chase, or Retribution. Just having wall hacks on this killer is so insane. No, but wall hacks on this killer are just unreal. If I had to pick one just because you can get value out of it the entire game every time, is I'm all ears. I would say that might be Pyramid Head's best perk. Obviously, you can't go wrong with saying Ruin, just because you can pressure so many people off gens really quickly. But the perk is dirty. Blight. Wow. Because I think Blight's the best Tinkerer user in the game. I'm going to go with Tinkerer just because the perk is insanely strong. And Blight is the best Tinkerer user in the entire game. Because he can just get to that gen immediately. Even if there's 2 people on it, sometimes you can still get there after a Tinkerer proc, which is crazy. So yeah, I'm going to go Tinkerer for Blight because you can just stack slowdowns with it and just dominate. Even if you're not that great at Blight, having this perk and 1 or 2 slowdowns is just nasty. Twins. Honestly, I'm going to say it's between these two. Deadlock and Sloppy. Deadlock makes it so you have time. Like, it's really good passive slowdown. And Twins aren't great at just going around and constantly pressuring gens. What they do insanely well is camp and slug. So having people injured all the time with Sloppy is huge. It makes people not want to heal even if they could, because it takes so long with Sloppy because of Mangled. And with Hemorrhage, the blood trails are insanely easy to follow with Victor because they bleed more. So that combo, it feels like this perk was almost made for the Twins just because of that. But Deadlock's insane too, because just the 30-second blocking of a gen that you don't even have to like do anything for, like they do a gen and it hurts them, is pretty crazy to set yourself up for camping with Victor or just mass slugging. So it's between these two, Deadlock, which is Pinhead's perk, or Sloppy. I'm not going to be boring and say Corrupt. I think Trickster's best perk is Corrupt, dude. Slows down the game at the start. He can down people super quick, but he has to be able to find them. So if you're in a situation where you stop 2 or even like 3 people from hopping on a gen right away, 100% gray. As a 110 dude, the early game is the most important thing. Because all of them are really strong in chase. All the 110 killers. You got Hag, Huntress, Spirit, Deathslinger, Trickster. They're all really good in chase. But their early game is so bad. Just because they're so slow, they need to find people and get their snowball rolling. Trickster's really good in chase. So if you're going to slow down the game just a bit at the start and start chaining some downs together, stack something like Pop on top of that, maybe even Lethal to know exactly where to go at the start of the game, and you're just going to be rolling over teams like crazy. Like, even really good survivors have a tough time dealing with Trickster just because, like, against this killer, if you're not in a good spot, you are going down. It doesn't matter what perks you have, you're dead. Okay, so here's the thing with Demi. Yeah, if your zombies are putting in work, Ruin is insane for the gen pressure, because you could, like, literally pressure 3 gens at the same time with Ruin if your zombies are doing what they're supposed to, but they never do. Him being able to buy a little bit of time to tear himself up, especially with something like Save the Best for Last, and just become a monster and chase. Corrupt is, like, invaluable. It's so good. He's the second best save user, though, right behind Demo. They're both really good at shredding pallets and playing around any loop. Then stacking this on top of it, you could be downing people in 5 seconds again. So I would say it's between Corrupt and Save again. Pinhead. 2 perks are absolutely unreal on this killer. It's Ruin and Dead Man's Switch. Ruin and Dead Man's Switch are insane. If you can get the box 1 time on this killer, and you have either one of those perks, like with Dead Man's Switch, if you get somebody hooked and you get the box, you might as well just say the game's over, because they can't do anything. Ruin, if you pair that with Ruin, it's so unnecessarily strong that it's, like, insane. Ruin, Dead Man's Switch, and the box on Pinhead is, like, the strongest slowdown you could ever have in the game. Force people to not touch a gem without having to fucking do anything. It just happens. Artist is, I think, the best Dead Man's Switch user in the entire game. You will always get value out of that perk on her. It's crazy. You can camp with it. You can hook somebody and just send burrs to gens you know people are on from Barbecue or Tinkerer. And just they're blocked for 45 seconds. They can't do anything about it. That leaves 15 seconds of camping a hook where they can actually work on a gen until that person either hits second stage or dies, depending when you hook them. It's insane. This killer is Garagio, but she does have really good mobility. So similar to Freddy, your best bets are going to be Ruin or Pop, because her TV's spawns are usually pretty good, like very near by to gens and stuff. So she can use Pop really well. Her main problem there is she has no power in chase, so getting consistent hooks like that is a little harder than Freddy even. Yeah, I would say Ruin might be her best perk. Even though it's fragile, you can get a lot of pressure, especially with some of her add-ons. Okay, the Dredge is brand new. I think this is his nastiest build, probably. Because, I mean, even if they have Unbreakable, if they use it 1 time, then you still just end the game through this. I'd even say Sloppy is his best perk. He can also use Dead Man's Switch really well. Because if you're just teleporting to lockers, especially in Nightfall, and you have Dead Man's Switch up, if you teleport just nearby a gen, somebody's probably going to let go. Then you can just teleport to the next one and make them let go, and the next one. Yeah, it's between DMS and Sloppy, because the Dredge gets more Nightfall charges when people are injured, and Nightfall just makes his killer a fucking god. Like, actually, his mobility and Even power and chase teleporting to lockers is just fucking gross. Sloppy's insane on him, but so is DMS. If I had to go for a perfect build on him right now, we'd have to test it a little more, but it might be something like this. It might be a perfect build. I think if there's anything for you guys to take away from this video, it's that Corrupt Intervention is an insane perk in this game. It's a perk you'll always get value out of, and for killers that need to ramp up a bit, super strong. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope it helped you, and if it did, I'd really appreciate a like and subscribe, and I'll catch you next time.